Hi, it's me again with Corel Tips and Tricks. And somebody emailed me and asked me a question how you could write text that looked like it was a label that was going around a box. And I did pretty good. My V looks a little bit funny, but that could be corrected. So a couple of things. It all depends on your text and everything. And I wrote out some text. I have it center justified to two of my favorite people, Epilogue Laser System and Engraving Concepts in Arlington, Texas. That is the manufacturer distributor for Epilogue lasers. So a couple of things you need to look at. You need to find out where you're going to put. So you could use an indexing line and go, well, you could really, split as least amount of letters as you can. And, for this instance, you could actually change them. So we're going to go object and break it apart. And I'm going to set my nudge factor on something pretty low, like 0.02. And I'm going to nudge this where this N is more like in the middle. You won't be able to tell it on the graphic. Now, it's hard to get a spot here, and these are just suggestions of things you do, but you could grab the shape tool, and let's zoom in here a little bit, and let's grab all these nodes for the first part, and let's just nudge those out of the way. Now we could put the V a little bit closer so you could grab all these nodes and put the V just a little bit closer. But you see my N is in the middle, and then leave it like that. Now convert it all to a curve. Go to Object and convert to a curve, and what that's going to allow me to do is cut it in half twice. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to delete that indexing line. I'm going to get a 2-point line, which I could have really done at the start. And I'm going to put that line where that other line was. Let's zoom in and look at it a little bit close to that V so we could nudge it over just a hair. Now I'm going to make 2 copies of this. So I'm going to select it. Now I'm going to set my nudge factor like on 10 inches. I'm going to make 2 copies of it. I'm going to Control D and move the other one down. I am going to take my virtual segment delete key and delete that half, everything on that half of the line. On this one, I'm going to delete everything on this half of the line. Now the end is probably going to be the only one that's going to give us any problem, but it's not that big a deal because we can fix that. So then, let's get rid of our 2 lines. You don't have to, you do want to probably go now and group this together, Control G and Control G. And then double click on your pen tool till you get your rotation, but use the skew. And you could skew it, on this one I skewed it down, so I'm just going to skew it down. On this one I'm double click till I get the skew, I'm going to skew it down, and you could play with that till the cows come home. Now the end is going to be messed up, but we can fix it. So let me set my nudge factor back on 0.02 and get that kind of like right in there. Now it looks pretty good. The end's messed up, as you can see, but we're going to fix that, I think. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go left click, right click. And because this is a curve, and we got all our nodes almost fixed, I'm going to take that, well, I'm going to have to break everything apart. I'm going to have to grab this, go to Object, and ungroup it to get my shape tool to work. We could fix it right here. I was going to smart fill it, but you know what? I bet I could just fix it right here. Well, no, I am going to smart fill it. So we're going to make sure these nodes are kind of joined. I'm going to, as I always do, draw a rectangle, and I'm going to fill this in. It worked. So now what I'm going to do is set my nudge factor on something big, like 2 inches maybe. I'm going to fill this in with the Smart Fill tool. And now I'm going to get rid of my rectangle, and I'm going to get rid of my end, which you can't really do, so you just virtue segment delete it. Now we're going to take our end, and we're going to left click, right click, and we're just going to fix this part. And you could actually play around with it till it looks like it's going around the corner. And what happened is I just took out the nodes, the Smart Fill tool sealed it up. Now I can just left click black. I didn't select this one. Left click black. And it looks like it's going around a box. Now I went a little further and put actually a box around it. But you could almost do that with any font, with the exception of maybe a cursive font or a script font. You know, any Arial, or this is just Arial, bold, I made it bold. But that's a pretty cool effect if you were wrapping around a box paper like that. I hope that helped a little bit. Thank you for watching.